And give it up for Karen Reiner.
When my best friend and I were about 8, 9 years old, a construction worker across the street from my house uncovered the remains of a Revolutionary War soldier. And my friend and I were gobsmacked by this, and thus began our fascination with trying to talk to the dead. So we stole silk scarves from our mother's drawers, and we tied them on our heads like fortune tellers, and then we sat on my pink shag carpeting, holding hands with our eyes clenched shut, trying to communicate with this dead soldier, with no luck, until we came upon the most amazing communication device of all time, the magic 8-ball. We sat on the shag rug, we rubbed the 8-ball, and we said, "Mr. Revolutionary War soldier, can you hear us?" And he said, "The outlook is good." So we said, "Mr. Revolutionary War soldier, have you ever met George Washington?" And he said, "It is decidedly so." We were right in the middle of the Watergate scandal at the time, so we said, "Mr. Revolutionary War soldier, can you tell us if Richard Nixon's going to win the election?" He said, "Reply hazy, try again later." So this began our career as hosts of seances. You see, slumber party season was upon us, and we hired ourselves out to the neighborhood kids. And it was so successful that each slumber party, we upped the ante a little bit more. So one of us got our hands on a Ouija board. Another one of us got a flashlight. We used to shine under our chins to make the spirits feel more comfortable in our presence. And then we would test whether they were there with the tried and true method of the levitation technique, using just 2 fingers. Light as a feather, stiff as a board. Come on, ladies in the audience. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? I know the men don't. Last time I'll tell the slumber party story, the guys didn't. They didn't know the chant, we must increase our, but they didn't know that. But so there's this levitation thing. If you don't know it, you have to look it up. So we did the levitation thing to assure that we had the spirits in the room. As time went on and as we got a little bit older, we became wise enough to realize that we weren't actually connecting with the spirits. But by then we had a following of younger siblings and younger kids, and they looked up to us, and frankly, we were a little bit high on the power of it all. And they were young, they were impressionable, they were easy to manipulate. So we upped the ante again, and we got one of those Barbie heads, the life-size Barbie heads that you could style the hair on, and we shoved a flashlight in it, and we hung this thing by its ponytail from a tree in the backyard after dark. This was such a hit at Missy Finkelstein's birthday party that at the next slumber party in December, we upped the ante again. We found some clear fishing wire in Mr. Ritter's tackle box, and we tied it to the Christmas wreaths. And then we gathered the girls around and we said, "Spirits, if you're in the room, give us a sign." And my friend pulled on the fishing wire and the wreaths moved back and forth. And the kids jumped into each other's arms screaming and begging for more. They got called for their pizza and their cake, and they left the room. And then my friend and I got a genius idea, a devious but genius idea that was completely acceptable in the 70s, but today would be a case study in harassment, intimidation, and bullying at the Teacher in Service Day. So this is what we did. We snuck into their little Hello Kitty overnight bags, and we stole their underwear from the next day's change of clothing. And we ran it underwater and put it in the freezer in the garage. By the time they finished their birthday cake, these underpants were frozen solid. We strung them on the fishing wire. It can be used for so many things, not just fishing. And we dangled them out the window from the upstairs bedroom. So down below, where the slumber party was happening in the living room, it looked like there were 5 ghosts flying around in their underpants. And it was December, so they kept their form all night long. And I don't think any of these girls slept a wink that night. And I think we were single-handedly responsible for the moratorium on future slumber parties that one of the mothers invoked. And I feel a little guilty about that. And here we are, it's 2024. I can't predict who's going to win the election or whether our elections are rigged, but I can guarantee you all of our seances were. And I think that these little girls who are now mid-50s are still probably haunted by what we did. And I really need to make some reconciliation. I think by sharing this confession, I can make some amends. Because if I dig deep and I ask myself, after my own demise, will I go to heaven or will I be crawling my way out of purgatory? In the words of the Magic 8 book, my outlook is not so good. Thank you.
Keep it going for Karen.